We say, Rochim Habaim B'Shem Adonai. Bless each and every one of you who come here to express your condolence to Neil and to Cindy and to Bev and Marcy and Stephanie, the whole family. As we are absolutely stunned as a community, the tragic death of our beloved Stacy. The Pepper family, of course, are beloved members of Temple Emmanuel. And if it was not for the fact that their sanctuary is under repair right now, this is where that service should be. A place where we had so many infants, and Rabbi Steve Foster is here, and Rabbi Joe Black is here. They're here representing Emmanuel. If you can imagine this, Temple Sunday, the Zware Sanctuary, just imagine it now. For this afternoon, this is Temple Emmanuel Sanctuary, so that Stacy can be honored in the passing, and the condolence prayers and the messages of love for Stacy and for the family can come from home. It is a heartbreak for the entire community, and there's something about this that touches the entire community, and perhaps maybe having that service, this service here today, in a different place, is a way of saying the whole community is mourning for Stacy. And therefore, we have an outpouring of love, of family, of friends, from all different congregations throughout, people who've come near and far to pay their respects. Our dear friend and beloved colleague, Rabbi David Myers, come here, and of course, Aunt Marla and Corey and Jeremy. Our heart goes out to you and your extended family. The prayers that will be shared will be led by her uncle, by Uncle David, and by the people who loved her in life, and all we can share on behalf of the entire community. May God comfort you while we all mourn in Zion and Jerusalem. Amen.
Thank you, Rabbi. And special thanks from all of the family, to the communities here, to the staff here at Temple Sinai. It is no small feat, especially on a Friday afternoon, to bring the community in such numbers. Likewise, thanks so much, Rabbi Foster, Rabbi Black, members of the staff at Temple Emmanuel. And speaking personally, it means so much to me as a rabbi and as a grieving member of the family to have cherished colleagues that we can turn to in time of need. So, friends, we begin our service in loving memory of Stacy Lynn Pepper, who, despite the tragic violence of her passing, is now at perfect rest. Peace with God. On behalf of the entire family, again, thanks to everyone who's here, whether in person in the sanctuary or perhaps remotely by a live stream. We come together to perform two ancient and important mitzvot, customs of our people. The first we call Levayat Hamet, as we will escort our departed dear one to her final resting place. It is an act of kindness that needs to be done, and for which Stacy needs all of us. And we are also here for Nikum Avelim, to bring comfort to those whose hearts are torn, like the ribbons some are wearing. And we bring that comfort by our presence, by our silence, and by words of tribute for the blessings of Stacy's life. So we assemble now together in this holy sanctuary within the shadow that has fallen upon our hearts. And so let us raise our voices together in prayer to the source of life as we seek comfort and strength. To To God, the source of peace, we turn in our time of need. We pray that you will help us to find the strength and courage and patience to bear our sorrow, that we may return to life wholeheartedly to its tasks. Deepen our love for one another. Teach us to open our hearts to all who need us and guide us on our path until we find the abiding love that survives all loss and sustains us through every trial. In this moment, surrounded by all of these people, we see the beauty of this community, the strength of this community, the gift of this community. Still all of that's not good enough to make this not hurt to the deepest depths of our souls. Yes, having one another, bringing family close, having faith, it's not enough to make this okay in the moment, because this is tragic. But being with one another, loving one another, as we remember a loving and gifted, beautiful, and inspirational young woman, can't help us begin the process. Sometimes the gift of loving and healing is the gift of silence, the gift of being with, sitting with, even without the right words, because there are no right words. We sit together, hold each other, draw strength from one another. So Cindy and Neil, Stephanie, Melody, Marcy, I just met you. Bev, Ellen, Roger, Alec, Kayla, Larry and Jody, Leanne, Stephen, Marla, Corey, Jeremy, to all of this beautiful family. I speak for untold numbers of caring dear ones, friends, colleagues, others who are here with us remotely, in telling you, as they tell us, that they do share the agony of this grief. The anguish of our hearts is finding echoes in their own. And they know that they cannot enter all that we feel, or bear with us the full burden of the searing pain. But they can offer what their love can and does give, the strength of caring, the warmth of everyone who seeks to understand the silence at the heart of this great loss. So this we all do today, and will continue to do in many ways, so that on this painful path we must tread, you won't be walking alone. Psalm 121. I lift my eyes to the mountains. What is the source of my help? My help comes from the eternal God, maker of heaven and earth. God will not let your foot give way. Your protector will not slumber. Behold, the protector of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. God is your guardian, your protection at your right hand. The sun will not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. God will guard you from all harm. God will guard your soul, your going and coming, now and forevermore. Biblical Ecclesiastes taught us that for everything there is a season, a time for every experience under heaven. So a time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to uproot what is planted. A time to tear down, a time to build up. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to grieve and a time to dance. A time to throw stones and a time to gather stones. A time to embrace, a time to refrain from embracing. A time to seek and a time to lose. A time to keep time to let go, a time to tear and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak. Is there a sorrow greater than this? Where is our consolation and what words can we speak? Let our love and our deeds do the speaking for us. In the presence of boundless grief, the poet said, "Ein od tefillah b'sfatai." There's no longer a prayer on my lips. Yet we must pray, just as we must cry. So we can do that. Dear God, be now with the stricken family and our cherished Stacy. Help us to draw near to one another in our shared need for love and strength. Be with the mourners in their grief on the earth. As our people have done for more than 3,000 years, we join together in affirming our deepest hopes with the cherished words of the 23rd Psalm. Adonai roi lo echsar, b'neot neshem yaritzeni, al menuchot yirah alei. Nafshi eshover, yancheni b'madlei tzedek, leman shalom. Ki elech b'geitz ha'mavet, lo yirara, ki atani mani, shivtecha u'mishantecha, shivtecha u'mishantecha. Hema yenachamuni, taroch lefanai shulchan, taroch lefanai shulchan, taroch lefanai shulchan, neged sorerai, dishanta vashemen roshi, dishanta vashemen roshi. Ishanta Vashem Roshi Kosi Revaya Achto Vachesed Yirtefuni Kol Yemei Chayai Vishavti b'veit Adonai, Vishavti b'veit Adonai, le'orech yamim. Let us join together. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. I invite us to take a moment in silent prayer, the personal reflection and meditation of each of our hearts. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable, your your side, O Lord, my rock and my redeemer. Amen. I probably don't need to pretend that this is a bit of a difficult challenge right now. I want to thank my precious and loving family for entrusting this moment and this task to me. Today I have the honor to serve as officiant and rabbi, but I'm Uncle David. When I say those words, I can't help but hear Stacy's voice saying, Uncle David. And there's a specific time in conversation that I'm remembering. I was visiting in Palo Alto near the end of Stacy's freshman year at Stanford. We were having dinner at a nearby steak restaurant when I simply commented to her, remembering my own feelings of being a college freshman at the bottom of that totem pole. And I said to her, I'll bet you'll be glad to be done as a freshman. Stacy gave me that huge, full-face smile and said, Uncle David, it's great being a freshman in Berkeley. Lesson learned. This time we don't intend to give a full, complete biographical review of Stacy's life, her career, her honors. Certainly in the days and the weeks, all of the years to come, everyone who knew her and cherished her memory will continue to recite in your homes and hearts many precious feelings and recollections. In a moment, I'll invite Marcy and Stephanie to come forward, likewise as in Steve Sigmund, representing Kirkland and Ellis and Krista Cottrell, to offer all of their brief words of memory and affection. And I will also share thoughts offered by Neil and Cindy as well. Everybody who knew Stacy remembers her qualities as a kind and deeply caring soul. Bright and discerning and intuitive, she was athletic and beautiful, fun and funny, hardworking, devoted as a colleague, as a daughter and sister, cousin, niece, friend. From her early childhood, she demonstrated a quick wit in ways that were both insightful and certainly humorous. Beth was recalling how when Stacy was very young, she asked her granddaughter what she wanted to be when she grew up. Stacy didn't miss a beat in announcing she wanted to be the president. Beth warned her that it was a difficult job, but Stacy loved the idea of being able to run the country. As a student, her academic career was consistently excellent, filled with ongoing numerous honors, including being named valedictorian at Cherry Creek High School, where she had been captain of the speech and debate team. She graduated Stanford with a BA in political science with distinction back in 2006. She also earned highest honors in international security studies, was accepted into Phi Beta Kappa Honor Society. Her outstanding academics continued at Stanford Law School, graduating in 2011. The prior year, she won Best Oralist in the prestigious moot court competition. You know she worked hard every step of the way in becoming a litigation partner at Kirkland and Ellis. She honed her skills working within the courts with many high-ranking justices. Stacy built experience and a reputation. At Kirkland and Ellis, she was focusing on complex commercial litigation, including antitrust, class action, securities fraud, contract disputation, trade secret misappropriation. Her outstanding success earned her recognition by Thomson Reuters just last year as a 2021 Illinois Rising Star, and by Benchmark Litigation, likewise last year as a Future Star. I would say current star in Illinois. May I add that her in-depth knowledge of chickens would enliven any dinner table conversation she had. Yeah. In fact, Stacy's mere presence enlivened whatever room that she would enter. Throughout her life, I watched her sisters and cousins look up to Stacy, often vetting ideas, plans, even potential boyfriends and girlfriends that had to get her approval. She also was able to tell whether they were really interested in them or not. Laughter was always on the menu. Her sisters, cousins, recalled many Stacy tips. Leanne commented that as she began her own professional journey, she wanted to be like her cousin, like Stacy, who was truly her role model. It didn't hurt that Leanne's wardrobe was filled with what had been Stacy's clothing, so she stepped right into those shoes, as it were. She was blessed with many deep and close, long-time friendships, which was no surprise, because she was such a good friend to others. Of course, it was her family that remained always at the very core of her life. She never missed an important occasion or milestone, and never ended a conversation without saying, "I love you." She was a remarkable writer. She had a knack for organizing her thoughts in complex verses and rhyming patterns. Also, we should recognize that from a very young age, she possessed a clear moral compass, a strong sense of right and wrong. And that personal integrity showed up in her work as an attorney, as well as in all of her relationships. As Ellen observed, the world would be a better place if there were more people like Stacy. Stacy was always a deep thinker. From the time she was a child, I loved engaging in conversations with her about topics ranging from God to the Broncos and everything in between. In fact, after our cherished Aunt Adi died just a few short years ago, Stacy and I delved into matters of theology, randomness, life after death, justice in the universe or its apparent lack, and the problem of undeserved suffering. These are the same questions that we are wrestling with yet again in the midst of this day. So before turning to Marcy and Steph, may I offer to us all a blessing for the brokenhearted. Let us agree for now that we will not say that breaking makes us strong, or that it is better to have this pain than to have done without the love. Let us promise we will not tell ourselves time will heal the wound when every day our waiting opens it. Perhaps for now it can be enough to simply marvel at the mystery of how a heart so broken can go on beating, as if it were made for precisely this, as if it knows the only cure for love is more of it, as if it sees the heart's sole remedy for breaking is true love still. As if it trusts that its own stubborn and persistent pulse is the rhythm of a blessing we cannot begin to fathom, but will save us. Marcy.
Thank you all for joining us from near and far to help us celebrate the life and mourn the loss of our incredible sister, Stacy. There are few opportunities in a lifetime to gaze out into an audience of people whose lives you've touched, who have shown up singularly to surround you with love. We are devastated that Stacy did not have this opportunity herself. She would have been beaming. We are grateful to you her many adorers, for allowing us to share this moment with you in her place. Describing to you our disbelief, despair, sorrow, and rage is the hardest thing we have ever and likely will ever have to do. It is impossible for us to capture in words our immeasurable love for Stacy and how she was exceptional in every way. Stacy Lynn Pepper cannot be summarized. But exalting Stacy and the boundless joy of being her sister could not be easier. Stacy had a brilliant mind, intellect, and wit. She probably would have found a way to perform this eulogy as a tasteful and poignant rhyme. She likely would have edited our draft, which we finished at 4 in the morning, and remarked gently that it was a great start. Followed by exacting corrections until the final version was transformed into something transcendently moving in its perfection. Stacy was a masterful thinker, writer, and communicator. This started early. During a routine pediatrician visit as an infant, the physician asked our parents how many words she had learned to assess her developmental milestones. Stacy replied for herself in a complete sentence. As a precocious child, she asked many questions and gave even more sophisticated answers. She was captivating in her grasp of the art of an argument. In one of her trials, the judge ruled one of Stacy's witnesses could not testify about an issue as an expert, but allowed the witness to testify as a fact witness based on personal knowledge. In her exam of the witness, Stacy referred to the report of the non-expert witness, which apparently struck some as being impertinent. She charmingly course-corrected in court and later recalled this story, as she did many of her stories, with amusement. Another judge commented that her performance was a testament to the legal profession. It has been said that a genius is someone who can do easily and well what others can only do with great difficulty or not at all. Stacy's genius was profound and was evident in her performance as an exceptional student, as a formidable opponent inside or outside the courtroom, and to anyone special enough to be a recipient of one of her incomparable celebratory toasts or thoughtful cards.
Stacy had a strong sense of identity as a bold, inquisitive, extroverted, gregarious, inclusive adventure seeker. This also started early. As a toddler, Stacy once disappeared in the department store. She was off befriending. We Pepper sisters are lifelong night owls, and as kids, Stacy was always our fearless ringleader, volunteering to meander down the hall to push the bedtime boundary. As the oldest of our trifecta of 2 girls and a girl, and as our token redhead, she blazed a lifetime of trails for us into adulthood. Truthfully, we like to explore together how old we really felt in our hearts. Generally, as we surpassed the age of 30, the age we felt varied from 21 to 27 or 28, maybe 31. Although we never truly felt like adults in our heart until our hearts were irreparably broken when she was just taken from us in the blink of an eye. Stacy has been the guiding light of our family, encouraging us along the road of life. This road took her and us around the world, which she loved to experience broadly and deeply, and not in moderation. Stacy didn't just study abroad in Florence. She learned conversationally fluent Italian and flirted her way into an Italian romance. In Turkey, Stacy's sightseeing itinerary was so exhaustive that our mom nearly had to be rescued when she couldn't stand up from the squatty potty. Who had even ever heard of Borneo before Stacy trekked there? One of us up here has seen what feels like nearly every Buddhist temple in Sri Lanka. She recently recruited our parents and over 80-year-old grandmother as travel companions to Japan, because arthritic knees were no barrier to sharing new cultural experiences with her most beloved confidants. She often ended her voicemails to us by saying, "Hope you're doing something fun," and reminded us that if we were, to make sure we took her with us. Stacy loved to share. She was comprehensive and thorough in her storytelling and appreciated the value of a good detail, or perhaps every detail. She was the kind of person who took the time to craft you an email with tips and itinerary suggestions if she heard you were taking a trip to Italy, down to her favorite hot chocolate spot in Florence. It was called Hemingway's and was located across from the Ponte Vecchio, and she'd even tell you the percentage of hot chocolate to order. 56% to be exact was her recommendation for the perfect cup. Stacy loved just as much for you to share with her. One of her best friends sent her a birthday card last year proclaiming, "You're my favorite person to overthink things with." She was an engaged listener and delighted in unpacking what you were thinking about how you were feeling.
Stacy's capacity for showing affection, devotion, and boundless love was one of her greatest gifts to our sisterhood, as well as to anyone lucky enough to have her in their lives. Each morning we were together, began with a bathroom hug, each stroll included a held hand, and each night we were together, and with her first trying to persuade us to stay up later, followed by an eventual tuck-in with whispered love yous and like yous. Her capacity for lightening a load was similarly endless. Our family has endured what feels like more than our fair share of tragedy. But we felt that with our powers combined as sisters, we could survive in the face of overwhelming challenges because she generously shouldered much of our burdens when it was more than we could bear. Although Stacy often worried herself, she liked to assure us by saying, "Don't worry, I'll take care of you." We do not know how we will be able to face this most deeply painful sorrow without her by our side.
We hope we've been able to capture at least a glimpse of what made Stacy the light of our lives. Stacy never missed an occasion to tell us we were the light of hers too, and would half-jokingly ask if her sentiments brought us to tears. Now, we are drowning in them. We will forever cherish our bond with her, and we will miss her with all of our heart and soul. Stace, we love you and we love you to infinity.
I see Sigmund come up. Stacy present.
I've always been a picky eater. Whenever we had a big family meal, Stacy would look down at my plate, and if there wasn't enough variety, she would playfully say, "I think you might be missing something." My most fulfilling moments were when Stacy would look at my plate, this time with a more thorough selection, look back up, and give me just a subtle nod of approval. Moments like these give just snapshots of what I believe to be Stacy's best characteristics. Her ability to get you to try new things, see things from different perspectives, and expand your comfort zone. Your average interaction with Stacy would almost certainly end with you saying, "Thank you." The last time I was with Stacy, we brought back lunch to eat on her porch with Cindy, Neil, Leanne, and Francesco. We talked about school, good restaurants in town, the subtleties of negotiating pay raises, the many flaws of employee performance evaluations, typical lunchtime conversation. The food was from a wonton food truck, and we ordered everything on the menu. There was just one problem. One of the items was an eggplant stuffed dumpling, and I've never liked the taste of eggplant. Even though Stacy was sitting right next to me, I was still imagining her encouraging me to try one. So I did, and it was good. Was it my favorite item on the menu? No, but I never would have known that if I hadn't tried. Stacy could always bring out the best in other people. Challenge yourself to try something new and help someone else realize their own potential. I believe that doing that is the best way to make sure that Stacy will always stay with us. Thank you.
Krista Cottrell from Kirkland and Ellis would offer a few words on behalf of all of their colleagues.
I had the honor of working with Stacy for the past 7 years. But to say we work together, that doesn't quite capture it. Stacy and I talked every single day, 10 times a day. The day that she passed, we talked 5 times, and that was a light day. You see, Stacy and I knew each other through work, but we were not coworkers. We were a family. And with me today are so many members of that work family. From Kirkland, from our client, from law firms all across the country, of folks who were fortunate enough to meet Stacy along the way. There is so much I could say about Stacy Pepper. The positive attributes, they come to my mind in waves by the dozens. What is difficult is putting them into a few words, but I'm going to try. Whenever we would write a brief or prepare for a legal argument, Stacy would tell our team, you need 3 reasons. They would say, there's just 1, or there's 6. And Stacy would look at them in that Stacy Pepper voice we all know so well, firm but kind. And she would say, no, to make an effective argument, there has to be 3. So, Stace, here are my 3 for you. First, Stacy was tremendously talented. I'm not sure how many people here have an appreciation, because she was so humble, of the fact that Stacy was one of the lead lawyers in a multi-billion-dollar case. She was the face in front of our court. She was brilliant. She was always poised, and she was thoughtful. Our judge loved her so much. There's a story that has become the thing of a Kirkland legend. Stacy was getting a pedicure a few years ago, and being Stacy, she struck up a conversation with the girl sitting next to her. The girl was in law school and clerking for a judge, so Stacy said, I'm at Kirkland. The girl said, I can't believe it. My judge is obsessed with a partner at Kirkland. He thinks she is the most phenomenal attorney he's ever seen. He actually makes me read her transcripts to learn how to be an effective arguer. And Stacy said, oh, I can't believe this. I can't wait to tell this person. Who is it? Stacy Pepper. We had so many nicknames for Stacy on our team. We called her the Judge Whisperer, Sergeant Pepper, Mrs. Sanderson after our chicken client. But my favorite was Stacy Pedia. For her birthday this past year, one of our team members here with me today, she got the entire team, Stacy and her parents' mugs, and they said, Stacy Pedia, a badass who knows everything. And that describes her well. That there are so many attorneys here who work for her, with her, even against her, is a testament to just how talented she was. Second, Stacy was truly admired for how she lived her life. People always say, you need to stop, you need to enjoy the journey. But the thing is, Stacy did. She paused. She paused to ask how you were, how your kids were, how your vacation was, how your grandmother was. She knew every single person's birthday on our team. She even sent emails out before every single deposition, wishing the attorney taking it good luck. And that is a lot of depositions because we had 367 of them. You see, Stacy was often the busiest person on our team, but she took the time to make other people feel special. And that, quite frankly, is what made her so special. Number 3, and this is a hard one for me. Stacy was loved. We at Kirkland, we know we were just one small part of her very full life. But we loved her deeply. And I like to think she knew just how much we cared. Stacy was a partner overseeing a team of a lot of attorneys, 14 of them, all 14 were here with me today. But they didn't just think of her as a partner. She was who we all wanted to be. We had a training presentation we would do whenever we would welcome someone new to the team. We'd say, this is what the case is about, this is what the law is. But it always ended with the exact same message. And I want to share that message with you now. We said, welcome to our team, where you get to work with the best partner at Kirkland. My team is stopping because that's actually how we welcome people to our team. And I cannot yet grasp that no one else is going to have that experience. So for those 3 reasons, and hundreds more that I, quite frankly, wouldn't be able to get through today, Stacy made us all better people. And we are privileged to have known her. I speak on behalf of everyone who has worked with Stacy when I say, we will never forget what a phenomenal talent she was. We will all pause to try to enjoy the journey like Stacy did, and we will never step over her.
The many hundreds of messages that have come pouring in to all of the family, Cindy and Neil have asked me to share one from Linda Campani, whom Stacy studied in Italy, I believe. She wrote, "Dear Pepper family, the awful news reached us in Italy as well. At Stanford in Florence, we mourned Stacy's loss, but cherished a wonderful memory of an extremely bright, lively, and beautiful young woman who was always kind, cheerful, and a key member of our closely knit Stanford community in Italy. She was one of those rare, shining stars who left a lasting memory in all of us, her Stanford peers, her Italian friends, which included my son, all the staff and the faculty at the program. She spent 2 quarters at Stanford in Florence and took 2 film classes with me. She submitted her final papers all in Italian. As a political science major, she also took a course on the European Union, as well as a class devoted to the quality of democracy. While the 2 main ideas to which she devoted her attention were communication and political science, she also found the time to study and appreciate Renaissance art history. At a formal conference in Paris, where many Stanford programs, the faculty and students came together to discuss EU-US relations. She was one of the few spokespeople for our center and gave an absolutely brilliant talk on the EU, its constitution, and its challenges. Already then, her skill and confidence were such that she performed more like a graduate student than a junior in college. Her subsequent career in law and her successes never came as a surprise to me. She was a traveling scholar, DC, Florence, London, to name a few, and she was a joyful and wonderful human being. She was always in a good mood, so full of life and grace. All of us at Stanford and Florence express our most deeply felt condolences to everyone in Stacy's family, as well as to all those who knew and loved her. We will light a bright candle for her in Florence. Again, from our Melinda, come on. Friends, our last words of personal affection and memory are those shared by Cindy and Neil that I'll read on their behalf at this time. To our dearest Stacy, we are struggling in so many ways right now, and you are not here to lift us up or give us the words. We're trying so hard not to think of the horrific manner of your death that gave pause to police and firemen from 3 different districts. We've been assured you did not suffer it, yet we've not been able to put those images out of our minds, despite the compassionate and daily visits or phone calls from the Cherry Hills Village Police, who say they will catch the perpetrator no matter how long it takes. When you left the house on that very tragic day, in usual Stacy fashion, you always stopped and asked, "Do I look okay? Makeup okay? Hair okay?" And of course, I always responded, "You look beautiful. Be careful. Have fun." You said, "I won't be gone that long. Maybe we can take a walk when I get home, and I love you." Little did I know that in under 10 minutes you would be taken from us. Don't think you ever fully realized how beautiful you were, both on the inside and out. In between tears, which does not leave much time, we're trying to redirect our thoughts to the 37 years of unparalleled joy you brought to Dad and me, your beautiful sisters, Marcy and Stephanie, who spent several hours with you Wednesday, so you were with family and not alone. Apparently played some of your favorite songs, which they thought it probably never played in a mortuary. And of course, your devoted grands, who you blew out birthday candles with every year as your birthdays were just a day apart. One of the attributes that made you so unique and special was that you were not afraid to share yourself. You wore your heart on your sleeve with your Aunt Ella and Uncle Roger, Uncle Larry and Aunt Jody, Aunt Marla and Uncle David, and all your loving cousins and dear friends and colleagues. On your 37th birthday, just 2 months ago, Dad and I wrote you a card. "Dearest Stacy, what a joy it has been to have you at home this year. Silver lining of COVID. Our conversations, walks, TV shows, and meals are more fun, thought-provoking, and interesting when shared with you. You are thoughtful, kind-hearted, fun, funny, and smart. And so much more than just a wonderful daughter, you are a wonderful friend. We feel like we are the luckiest people in the world to have you as our daughter. You are truly a special person, not only to us, but your entire family and friends. And yes, you will get it all done. You will lose 5 pounds. You will meet someone great. And it will all be okay. Hope you know how much you are loved. Happy, happy number 37. We love you. We like you so very much. One of the things you loved most while home was our walks together. We loved these too. Not something Neil and I had ever done much before. In our hour of uninterrupted time, we had so many inspiring conversations. You made us laugh each time you got so excited at the sight of a bunny, as if it was the first time you'd ever seen a rabbit. And then, of course, you had to count them all along the way, point out each one. You wanted us to be excited with you. But more than that, we covered so many topics. Of course, there was always a discussion about boys and dating. Usually a little time spent with you trying to teach us some aspect of law, how different kind of opt-out plaintiffs make things more complicated, and how some rule you found would give you a shot at winning a motion. How often, how hard an associate had worked to meet a deadline. One thing that surprised me a bit during our conversation was that you told me that you actually loved writing of briefs more than oral advocacy. You said the written word can be crafted and recrafted to ultimately accomplish the desired result. And then our discussions usually diverge to other topics, everything from climate change to local and international politics, gender equality, and even quality of life. You were always so eloquent in explaining both sides of the issues. In the past couple of weeks, Sue Lubeck, who owned the bookies, passed away. When Stacy was about 3, Stacy and Sue had made a book made for her called Stacyisms, to keep track of her witty remarks. When Stacy was 3 and a half, we switched preschools, and she asked me, "Will I not be bored at school anymore?" So I said, "What's bored?" And she responded, "It's when you're standing still and everyone else is running around you." And when she was 4, she asked me what college was. I told her that's where you decide what you want to be, doctor, nurse, etc. And she responded, "I don't want to be anything but a good daughter and find a nice husband." A little later in the week, we went out for Chinese food, and Stacy got a fortune cookie, telling her she would be a movie star. And she exclaimed, "Oh boy, does that mean I don't have to be a doctor or a beauty shopper?" Stacy was always so wise, maybe because she insisted she'd lived here before. Around the age of 4, she would talk about having a different mommy in this other life. And she had a bright, shiny, silvery piano, and didn't know why, and would often tell me what her other mother made her for dinner. Also, when Stacy was 4, both of her grandfathers died, and she took out her magic wand to cast a spell to bring them back. Dear Stacy, if you only knew how much we wish there was some kind of magic to bring you back to us. Stacy was not afraid to laugh at herself, but she was afraid of heights. She was determined to conquer that fear and signed up for a challenge course in high school with that goal in mind. Step 1 was to do trust falls, where your classmates catch you. Of course, on her first attempt, they dropped her, but she persevered, and her determination not only let her conquer her fear, but even her exclaim in the opening of her college essay that she loves to get high. She went on to be able to view the world from atop many landmarks, from the Statue of Liberty to the Eiffel Tower and beyond. She wanted to share her view with her family and became our tour guide extraordinaire. We are so grateful for those amazing trips with her, often including 3 generations. Another story that exemplifies Stacy's ability to connect with others and also laugh at herself occurred during her first days of internship at U.S. Attorney's Office in Chicago. At the time, Patrick Fitzgerald was the U.S. Attorney there. She was riding the elevator up to her office with a gentleman, and they started talking. He asked her why she wanted to work in the Chicago office, and she said, "Because I want to work with Patrick Fitzgerald." As they exited the elevator, she introduced herself and said, "By the way, I'm Stacy Pepper." And he said, "Hi, I'm Patrick Fitzgerald." There are so many Stacyisms we've come to love, far too many to relate. Every year of her life was filled with unique adventures, special friendships, and of course, witty conversations. All of us here and those watching from afar have our own Stacyisms and our own stories of the joy she brought to our lives. We all know how she would go to any length to support a friend, to share a personal or professional contact, or initiate an introduction. She was the most kind, thoughtful, intelligent person we were privileged to know and love. Back to 4-year-old Stacy, one day she said, "I feel a little dim." When I asked her what that meant, she said, "A little tired, a little sad." Stacy, we are beyond it. Our brightest light has been extinguished. Whenever something you attempted didn't go as planned, if you fell off a swing set, out of a tree, if you fell down the stairs in our old house in front of your terrified grandmother, if you lost a competition, you immediately responded, "I'm okay." You were always okay. With you around, everything always was okay. Now we are not okay. Never will. With all our broken hearts, we wish that you were here to tell us again that you are okay, so we could be too. I sit on my couch, my spot, wait for you to walk in the door. Stacy, please text or call. So are you okay? Stacy, please text or call. So are you okay? We love you and like you forever and always. Oh God, give us loved ones and make them the strength of our life, the light of our eyes. In part, leave us bereft on a lonely way, but you are the living fountain from which healing flows. To you, the stricken look for comfort, and the sorrow-laden for consolation. God, we see life as through windows that open on eternity. We see that love endures, and the soul endures, as you, O God, endure forever. We see that the years are more than grass that withers, more than flowers that fade. They weave a timeless pattern in a world that is the dwelling place of your love and glory. Friends, as you are able, I invite you to please rise now for the traditional chanting of Alleluia. Compassionate God, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence to Stacy, Lynn, and Pepper, who has entered eternity. God of mercy, let her find refuge in your eternal presence. Let her soul be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. God is her inheritance. May she rest in peace. And say amen. Zohar harakia masivrim Elishma Sarash mitzvah Bat nachnu chayim alevi v'simalaya Shalchai olama Bal harachamim Yasireha v'sefer kenafav La'olamim V'yitzror achayim Elishmata Adonai unachlata, v'tanuach, Tisha Al Yishkava Vinamar As our services will continue with the ritual of interment at Mountain Bow, Jim will make the concluding announcements for us. Ladies and gentlemen, if we can ask you to please remain in your places as we escort the casket and the family to their cars. If we can also ask you to please refrain from coming forward and trying to speak with them. If you catch them in the restroom, please recognize they need to get back to their cars and they need to get to the cemetery. Everyone is invited to the cemetery. We do have an escorted procession today. If you'd like to join us in that procession, we'll ask you to have your headlights on and your hazards on. We are going to use the exact same exit, even if you're not going to the cemetery, on the southeast corner. So please, if you're not going, if we can ask you to get ready to those who are going. If you are going in the procession, please don't delay in the foyer with conversation or in here. Please return to your cars as quickly as possible so we can get to the cemetery. If you did not pick up the handouts, if you ran out, we do have instructions forward in the front of the Shiva and for the escorted procession. I can invite the pallbearers forward. Pallbearers have their arm on each side. Coming for the photograph of the Ishpad, Elemonavina, Velsavitia, Shahu, Asurkamiko, Otoa, Neo Horada, Ashavika Matava, Morisha, Obaya, Asurkamiko.